same mechanics behind why I developed a heartbeat phobia are also behind why I developed a phobia of depersonalization realization. So, with my heart, one day it was during the summer, I was really, really hot, and all of a sudden I felt my heart palpitate. And I hated that feeling, and also I got very anxious about it. And in the absence of education that this can happen and it not be a heart attack or heart issues, which always go to the doctor and get your heart checked, I started to think that there was something wrong with me. I started to think that my heart must be having issues. And so I started to resist. I started to toss and turn. I wanted to get away from my heartbeat because sitting still with my heartbeat and feeling that feeling appeared to validate that my heart was somehow broken. And over time, through something called neuroplasticity, my brain began to associate the safe feeling of my heartbeat with threat association, which ironically produced more stress. And what does an increase of stress do? It increases your heart rate. So it just became this kind of feedback loop. But I also was able to desensitize it, okay, through facing my heartbeat, not running from it anymore. But those same mechanics of a safe physical symptom being conditioned to be associated with threat through resistance and misunderstanding are also behind why a lot of people get stuck in depersonalization realization. This is one of the layers, okay? There's a lot of layers because technically depersonalization realization happened due to traumatic stress, overwhelming stress in the brain, body, nervous system. So you've got all of these different things that have happened that have put your nervous system and body into a very, very dysregulated state. But once you hit that overwhelm point, which is whenever depersonalization realization happens, the symptoms of depersonalization realization are so terrifying that people resist them, and they also start to believe that these symptoms are representative of they're going crazy or their brain is broken or they're becoming schizophrenic or they're becoming psychotic, and they start to resist them. They're tightening up their body. They're trying to get away from any sort of triggers that make the symptoms worse, which actually, through neuroplasticity, causes these safe symptoms to be associated with threat. And so now, in the absence of education as to why the symptoms are happening, which is that your nervous system is just overwhelmed, we start to create an additional layer of stress that becomes one of the reasons why it becomes so difficult for the nervous system to downregulate. And so part of how we reverse this is we get proper education as to why the symptoms are happening. These are safe symptoms that show up at the point of traumatic stress, and then we start to welcome them in. This is just one thing of many things that we have to do to recover, but that is how you address that layer.